Over 590 days ago, Lonzo Ball last played a game of basketball after tearing his meniscus. And for months now, there has been no clear date for his return, as the Chicago Bulls have struggled without him. In any case, the Bulls point guard has finally broken his silence about his injury and confirmed everyone's fears. So in today's video, I will be discussing how Ball is set to miss another season of basketball and how the Bulls would handle his absence. The injury that ruined his prime. On January 14, 2022, in a matchup between the top seed in the East versus the top seed in the West, the Chicago Bulls ended the game with more than a loss to the Golden State Warriors, as they lost one of their most important players. With 5 minutes and 2 seconds remaining of the third quarter, Lonzo Ball was forced to leave the game with what was supposed to be nothing more than knee soreness. Unfortunately, Ball, who was at his healthiest and on set to have a career-best season since he joined the NBA, ended up suffering a tear to his meniscus that has required a lengthy recovery process ever since. Just 35 games into his career as the Windy City's team point guard, the 2017 second overall pick was instrumental in Chicago's explosive start in the 2021-2022 season. With Ball on the court, the Chicago Bulls were the top seed in the Eastern Conference with a 27-13 record, as the point guard was enjoying the best shooting season of his career with career highs in shooting and beyond the arc. In his debut Bulls game, Ball scored 12 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists in a 94-88 win over the Detroit Pistons. And 2 days later recorded a triple-double with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in a 128-112 win over the New Orleans Pelicans. He was the best two-way player on the team as he excelled on both ends of the court. And thanks to his tenacious defense, the offensive duo of DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine had an opportunity to play without the ball, allowing them to concentrate more on scoring than on creating chances for their teammates. The Bulls allowed 8.6 fewer points per possession when Ball was on the floor as opposed to when he was on the bench. The Bulls' point differential ranked in the 96th percentile before he got hurt, and once he was sidelined, Chicago Bulls defense suffered a lot. His vision for passing lanes led to simple transition baskets, and he was so important to the team that DeRozan admitted that the whole dynamic of the game changes when Ball is on the court. Sadly, he missed the final 42 games of the 2021-2022 season due to an injury, but he still managed to average 13 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per game. He finished 7th on the Bulls with 112 deflections, coming in second to Alex Caruso's 3.2 per game total. He led the Bulls in steals per game, and his 64 total steals were the 4th most on the roster. Unfortunately, the injury not only ruined his best season to date, but also hampered the Chicago Bulls' impressive run ever since. The Chicago Bulls without Lonzo Ball. For a team that failed to make it to the playoffs for 4 consecutive seasons, signing Lonzo Ball in the 2021 offseason after failing to trade for him before the 2021 deadline was a top priority for the Chicago Bulls. His importance to the team's rebuild was recognized even before he joined. As such, his loss just 35 games into the 2021-2022 season was devastating. After Ball's injury in January of 2022, the Bulls' offensive rating fell from the top 10, where it had been for the majority of the season, to 25th. From being the top seed in the Eastern Conference, the Bulls ended the season 6th with a 46-36 record, meaning without the point guard they had a 19-23 record that season. Unfortunately, things only got worse from there, because in Ball's absence, Chicago still hasn't found a suitable starting point guard to replace him, and this is despite the best efforts from Ayo Dosunmu and Caruso. Without Ball for the entire 2022-2023 season, the Chicago Bulls failed to make it to the playoffs without Lonzo Ball. They ended the regular season with a 40-42 record, finishing 10th in the NBA Eastern Conference. They also failed to make it out of the play-in tournament. However, with hopes that he would be a great fit for the starting point guard role in Ball's absence, the Bulls had signed veteran guard Patrick Beverley, but he was far from it, as he managed 5.8 points on 39.5% shooting, 4.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 1 steal per game. Surprisingly, the Bulls were able to defend without Lonzo Ball, as seen by their 5th-place defensive ranking in the NBA. Unfortunately, the team's offensive ratings were far from impressive, as they ranked 25th out of the 30 teams in the league. In any case, missing the entirety of the 2022-2023 season, according to many, meant that Lonzo Ball would be back soon. But unfortunately, the point guard has now come out to confirm many Bulls fans' worst fear. Lonzo Ball confirms the Bulls' worst fear. In the 5 years in which Lonzo Ball has been in the NBA, knee injuries have been a recurring issue. As a rookie, Ball missed 23 games due to knee injuries. He was forced to sit out of the Rising Stars Challenge during NBA All-Star Weekend after spraining the medial collateral ligament in his left knee against the Dallas Mavericks. Also, because of a knee contusion, he missed the final 8 games of the 2017-2018 season. At the time, he had to undergo arthroscopic surgery on his left knee to repair a torn meniscus. In any case, almost 3 years after the surgery and at his healthiest, he had another meniscus tear that has kept him out of the court for more than a year. According to the point guard, no one was certain of the nature of his injury when it first occurred because he was seeing many specialists. He explained that during his rehabilitation, after undergoing the first surgery on his left knee, he was having problems performing day-to-day activities, such as sprinting, jumping, or even catching himself. Later, in September of 2022, he underwent his second knee operation, arthroscopic debridement of his left knee, and according to reports at the time, there were promising signals from his recovery program. However, in the space of 14 months, he recently had his third surgery on his knee, a knee cartilage replacement. In any case, while on the From the Point by Trae Young podcast hosted by the Atlanta Hawks point guard, he broke his silence about the injury and confirmed the Bulls fans' worst fears. According to Ball, his recovery has been a long process, and despite the fact that everything appears to be going well following his third surgery, he is convinced that he will miss the entire 2023-2024 NBA season. Moreover, he is unsure of when he will be able to return to the court. According to famous ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith, Ball is still dealing with knee issues and is even finding it challenging to get up from the sitting position, which has led to shocking rumors that he might never play again. Ball, however, had to release a video where he proved that his recovery had been going well, as he could now stand and sit down while applying weight on his left leg. However, given that his surgery would see him miss next season, many are wondering how the Chicago Bulls would cope without their star point guard. Fate of the Chicago Bulls. Can they handle his absence? When the Bulls signed Lonzo Ball in free agency ahead of the 2021-2022 season, he was signed to a 4-year, $80 million deal, and it seems like given that he currently has no return date, he might have only played 35 games of that contract. For a player that the Bulls made top priority and even had to pay a fine after it was discovered that they had tampered with the sign-and-trade agreement that saw them acquire the point guard, that is pretty disappointing. In the 2021 offseason, the Bulls signed 5-time NBA All-Star DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso to a roster that remained only Kobe White and Zach LaVine from the 2019-2020 season. However, Lonzo Ball was the missing piece as such. The Bulls front office made sure to add him and build the perfect team around him. Lonzo Ball claimed that he had finally found the perfect set of teammates who understood his style of play, played it his way, and wanted to do what he wanted to do. I felt like that was the most I've ever been involved in an organization, Lonzo Ball stated. Sadly, the injury messed him up early when he was having his best season yet. In any case, little is known about how the Chicago Bulls would get a great fit option for their starting point guard position while Ball is recovering. However, the Bulls have since filed formal paperwork with the NBA to recoup $10.2 million for an injured guard through a disabled player exception. And perhaps now that they have done so, they will finally be able to find an effective replacement while their $400 million per year guard is still recovering. So do you see Lonzo Ball returning to his best if he recovers? How do you think the Bulls would have performed with a healthy Lonzo Ball? Let us know down in the comments section.